In World War II, every soldier carried rifles, grenades, and explosives. But one man walked onto the battlefield with a wood-chopping axe. Everyone laughed until he did the impossible. In just 4 minutes, he stopped a German tank with nothing but that axe. This is the unbelievable true story they never taught you in school. The axe, no one took seriously, May 14th, 1944. Eastern outskirts of the Hürtgen Forest, Germany. A cold mist clings to the pines as the 121st Infantry Regiment trudges through the mud, boots sinking with every step. Mortar smoke drifts across the tree line. Somewhere ahead, the metallic growl of German armor rumbles like distant thunder. Private Elias Ward, 26 years old, son of an Oregon lumberjack, tightens his grip on the thing everyone has been laughing at for weeks. A standard-issue Collins wood-chopping axe, its hickory handle worn smooth from years of use before the war. "Still carrying that damn tree whacker?" Sergeant Cole mutters, shaking his head as he adjusts his M1 Garand. Ward just shrugs. "Never know what you might need, Sarge." Another soldier, PFC. Irving snickers. "Yeah, maybe the Germans will surrender if you chop firewood real fast." Their laughter fades as the ground trembles again, this time closer. The unmistakable clatter of Panzer tracks grinds against the forest floor. Birds scatter. The air tightens. The column halts. Lieutenant Hawkins raises his binoculars toward the ridge ahead. "Tiger or Panzer IV," he whispers. "Hard to tell through the fog, but it's headed straight for us." The men sink low, hearts pounding, breaths frosting in the cold. They're traveling light, too far from the anti-tank crews, and the nearest bazooka team was cut off the night before. If a tank breaks through the thinning tree line, their entire flank collapses. "Everyone spread out, find cover," Hawkins orders. Ward slips behind a fallen oak, his axe tucked under his arm. The tank noise swells. Metal grinding, engines roaring, branches snapping in its path. Through the canopy, a shape emerges, then grows. Dark, massive, relentless. A Panzer IV Ausf. H, its turret scanning, its gray hull streaked with mud. Hawkins whispers harshly, "Keep your heads down. We can't take that thing head on." But the tank slows, stops. Its commander pops up from the cupola, scanning the forest with binoculars. The men freeze. The slightest movement could give them away. Ward watches the tank with a strange calm. Something clicks in his mind. Not fear, but calculation. He grew up around machines, logging trucks, sawmills, gears, joints, pressure points. Everything man-made had a weakness. Even a Panzer did. He leans close to Irving. "What's the chance they dismount a scout?" Irving swallows. "Slim." "Why?" Ward doesn't answer. His eyes lock on the tank's left track, wrapped tight around the sprocket wheel, caked with thick forest mud. He sees the angle of the track pins, the slight misalignment from running over debris, a vulnerability, small but real. If that track breaks, the tank becomes a trapped, useless hulk. Hawkins hisses, "Ward, don't even think about it. Stay down." But something else is happening inside Ward. Something deeper than orders or fear. Maybe it's the stubborn streak all lumbermen seem born with. Maybe it's the memory of his father teaching him the balance point of an axe, telling him, tools are only useless in the hands of someone who's afraid to use them. The Panzer's turret begins rotating toward the squad's position. They have seconds. A low whisper escapes Ward. "If that thing fires, we're done." Before anyone can stop him, he slips from cover. Cole's eyes widen. "Ward, get back here!" But Ward is already sprinting, staying low, weaving between the trees, boots slapping wet earth. The tank engine drowns out almost all sound. Rain drips from branches. Mud splashes under each step. He closes the distance. 40 feet, 30, 20. The commander remains focused through his binoculars, unaware of the lone American charging like a ghost through the mist. Ward slides behind a stump, breathing hard. The tank's exhaust burns his lungs. He peeks around the trunk. The track sits inches from him. Steel links held together by thick pins hammered into place. He grips the axe, tests the weight. The hickory handle feels alive. Another whisper of memory, his father demonstrating how to break a jammed steel bolt with an angled strike. Ward inhales. steps out. The commander suddenly hears something and begins turning. Too late. Ward raises the axe high over his shoulder and swings with every ounce of strength in his body. Clang! The impact rings through the forest like a church bell. A shower of sparks explodes from the track. Inside the tank, the driver shouts, "Was es das?" Ward swings again. Clang! Another burst of sparks. The guide pin bends. Visibly this time. The tank jerks, screeches. The track buckles half an inch. Ward pulls the axe free. His hands tremble from the force, but he lifts it again. The commander finally spots him. "Amerikaner, schießen!" The turret begins rotating. The machine gun starts stitching the tree line. Ward doesn't look back. He steps closer and swings a third time. Crack! The pin splits. Half the track jumps the sprocket. The Panzer lurches sideways, metal screaming as it grinds to a halt. Inside, chaos erupts. Shouts, curses, the panic grind of gears. Ward stumbles back, chest heaving. He's done it. In 4 minutes, with nothing but an axe, he's crippled a German tank. He ducks for cover just as the turret swings wildly, unable to stabilize. Hawkins and the rest of the squad stare in disbelief. Cole whispers, almost to himself, "Holy hell!" The battlefield shifts. The impossible has happened, and Ward isn't finished yet. The moment the battlefield turned, the Panzer IV trembles violently, its left track twisted off the sprocket like a broken spine. Smoke hisses from the engine vents as the driver slams the controls, trying desperately to break free. But the 25-ton beast is no longer a weapon, just a trapped animal snarling in the mud. Ward presses his back against a tree, gripping the axe as bullets rake the forest around him. Bark explodes into splinters. Dirt kicks up near his boots. The tank's MG-34 spits a continuous stream of fire, but its gunner can't get the angle right. The damaged track forces the turret into a grinding, uneven rotation. Inside, German voices echo in panic. "Die Kette is ab! Ersticken we're here! Dreht den Turm! Schnell!" Ward risks a glance. The commander is still exposed in the cupola, shouting orders, binoculars swinging wildly. Hawkins shouts from behind a fallen log, "Ward, fall back! We'll pin them down!" But Ward doesn't move. His eyes lock on the tank's rear access panel, the engine maintenance hatch, a weak point, one he'd seen on wrecked Panzers before. A plan hits him like lightning. If he can jam the turret or force the crew out, the squad could take the tank entirely. He tightens his grip on the axe. He's going back in. Irving yells, voice cracking, "Elias, you're out of your damn mind." Maybe, but the battlefield has its own logic. Noise, fear, chaos, and 1 second of clarity that can change everything. Ward sprints again, cutting a low arc around the tank. Mud splashes. Machine gun rounds snap through branches behind him. The tank tries to pivot its turret, but the damaged track grinds and stalls, giving him just enough time to slide behind the rear plate. He's invisible to the crew now, too close for them to aim. The safest place near a tank, and also the most dangerous. Ward swings the axe downward onto the maintenance hatch. Thud! A dent appears. Inside, someone bangs on the metal from the other side, shouting in frustration. Ward hits the hatch again. Bang! The latch bends. The engine sputters. It's overheating from the jammed track and the sudden loss of coolant circulation. Ward smells burning oil. The commander inside finally yells, "Rouse! Alle rouse!" Hawkins sees what's about to happen. "Positions! Prepare to take prisoners!" The first German crewman kicks open the side escape hatch and tumbles out, coughing, hands raised. Then another. Then the loader and the radio operator. 4 men scramble out into the mud, shouting, "Nicht schießen! Nicht schießen!" But the commander, furious, red-faced, refusing to surrender, swings his MP-40 toward Ward. Ward reacts before he can think. He steps in and brings the axe handle down across the man's hands. Crack! The weapon falls. The commander collapses to his knees, clutching his wrist. Hawkins and Cole rush forward, weapons raised, covering the crew as they drop their remaining gear. Within seconds, the entire Panzer crew is face down, disarmed and shouting their surrender. But Ward doesn't hear them. He's staring at the tank, this towering machine of steel that moments ago threatened to shred the entire platoon. now frozen in place like a dead giant. His axe, blackened with oil and sparks, rests in his hand like it always belonged there. Cole finally speaks, voice soft. Elias, you just took out a panzer with a damn axe. Irving steps forward, still stunned. Didn't think that thing would ever be more than a firewood cutter. Ward just shrugs, breath fogging in the cold air. It's not the tool, he mutters. It's how you use it. But the moment isn't over. Hawkins turns toward the ridge with wide eyes. Get down! Another tank! The forest shakes again. Another set of tracks, heavier, slower, grinds through the pines. The men scatter behind cover, reloading, bracing themselves. Ward drops beside Cole, heart pounding against his ribs. They all stare through the fog at the growing silhouette. But this time it's not the enemy. A second armored shadow emerges, wearing American markings, a Sherman from Bravo Company. The moment the crew spots the disabled German tank and the U.S. soldiers surrounding it, someone inside the Sherman pops the hatch and shouts, "What the hell happened here?" Hawkins points at Ward. He did. The Sherman commander looks down at the private holding the oil-stained axe. You? With that? Ward answers simply, "Yes, sir." Silence falls. Then the commander lets out a low whistle. Well, son, remind me never to get on your bad side. For the first time since the battle began, Ward allows himself the smallest breath of relief. But history will remember what happens next, even more than the tank kill. Because disabling the Panzer was only the beginning, the act that turned Ward from a lumberjack's son into an unlikely battlefield legend. This moment would spread through the regiment like wildfire, reaching commanders, journalists, even the men in the Sherman who couldn't stop retelling the story. But for Ward himself, it was just another day trying to survive the war. And yet within hours, he would make a decision that proved the axe wasn't simply a lucky tool. It was an extension of his will, his instincts, and his courage. A decision that would change how his entire unit saw him. A decision forged not from fear, but from responsibility. A decision that would define him for the rest of his life.